What is good, my beautiful people? It's Friday, getting down on Friday. Y'all, who remembers the TGIF cheer for ABC? It's Friday night. The moon is bright. It's TGIF. Thank goodness it is Friday. Gentlemen, we made it. JD, what is good, brother?
Hey, man. Hey, can everybody hear me all right? Look, y'all boy. Hey, he done got legit up in here. Look at here. We got some headphones. Hey, I forgot to tell y'all last time. I even had, I've been without my hat. So I got a new haircut, new glasses. Same old Gamecocks, though, man. They squeaking out wins, baby. Hey, how about that? It's JD Wyatt 06 on Twitter. Please like us, follow us, subscribe to us. Obviously, if you're here watching, you know that we are the Sportz Nutz. We got a little something right here on the TV behind us. I think Shane has plenty of stuff behind him. Hey, Shane, who are you?
Who are you?
Hey, man. Hey, it's Shane O'Mac here on a lovely Friday night here in South Carolina. Nice and cool. I'm enjoying the weather. Not too much humidity. Got all the sports going on in the background. Gotta love this time of year. Baseball is really getting in the swing of things. College baseball is coming down into the regionals. College softball World Series. Hey, maybe a hint.
Hey, so, you know what, though? We have so much going on this weekend. Gosh, it is the best time of the year. We got the regional starting and the men's college baseball World Series. You got Wofford almost upsetting LSU. What? It's LSU. Yeah. Come on now.
Almost got him.
Almost only counts in hand grenades and horseshoes.
Well, hey, LSU came back and beat the Gamecocks, man. I'm telling you, hey, that was what.
I got one for you.
Like 2 outs. Yep. What about this one?
How about Coastal upsetting Vanderbilt? Not upsetting, beating the stew out of Vanderbilt 13-3, y'all.
Oh yeah.
What? Coastal beating Vandy? Come on now.
Took him to the house like chopped liver.
Well, hey, one funny note about that one. I think the Coastal head coach, he's retiring at the end of this year. They
don't want him done yet.
He said no. He already told him before they even got selected. He was like, "Yeah, I'm already on vacation. I'm retiring." He did not expect them to get selected, and they made the tournament and then beat the brakes off of Vandy. They were sick of them talking about Vandy and Clemson and all the Gamecock nonsense. Hey, we're going to talk a little bit of Gamecocks in a minute, too.
Right.
What else?
How about the Gamecocks? They tied it up. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Tied the game. Go into extras. And what did they do, JD?
Man,
they saved whose bottom? They saved your boy, Mark Kingston's bottom. They won in extras. Unfreaking real. Y'all, we got the Women's College World Series. Whoop, whoop. Y'all, I'm telling you now, my family is a softball family. You got my wife sitting next to me here. I'll be happy to show her in just a minute, you guys. She is a lifelong softball player. Our oldest, Addison, is now a softball player. Y'all, she did phenomenal this season. Cannot wait to see what's going to happen. Y'all, how about the Minnesota T-Wolves losing 4-1 against the Dallas Mavericks? They're playing the Celtics in the NBA Finals. That's crazy to think about that. Y'all, how about this? The NHL postseason has been one to remember this year, and I can attest that. I'm a hockey fan, love my hockey. As you see, got my Greenville Swamp Rabbits visor on. Go Rabbits! Let's go Rabbits! As you hear my kids just cheering them out. Y'all, there you go. They're cheering. So we have 2 Dallas teams, y'all, about to make it all the way. One's going to win it all the way. I wonder who it's going to be. Guys, we got a lot to talk about today. We have a special guest coming on the show. my man, Coach Bob Spire of the Highland High School of Highland High School. He's a former, well, I think he's actually, he's the head coach there. He is the former head coach of North Gwinnett High School. He is also the former head coach of Camden High School, both in Georgia. Camden High School at one time was your traditional wing T offense, turned wishbone. They were struggling. Bob turned it into the run and shoot. JD's got some down low. He's going to talk about that later on tonight, y'all. I'm excited to hear the takes about this. But you know what, though? I want to show everybody here this beautiful woman right here. My beautiful 8-month pregnant wife, actually 7-month pregnant wife, Cassie.
Yep.
And
Miss Cassie. Hey, Miss Addison.
Addison, who is our newest softball great. So you know what, though?
Hey, and Brent, I'm so glad. If you could I have one moment though from you real quick? You were just mentioned the ladies. Go ahead, finish up your thought though, and I do want to follow up with you after what you were saying about your girls.
You know, I got some softball. I got some athletes in here. I'm ready. As I don't know if you guys can see, I'm not going to pan it over, but I got all three of them right here trying to get on the screen. They want to see you guys, but you know what though? It's a great day. You know why? Because it's Friday, y'all. We made it.
Oh, yeah.
We made it to Friday.
Absolutely. Yep. Hey, we made it. And guess what? I want to say congratulations to my middle niece, Miss Ashley. Hey, you are a Wildcat. That is your mascot. And that is you as a personality. You are fierce. You have no filter, young lady. You might need to work on that a little bit. But, hey, congratulations to you for graduating. And, you know, Taylor, my oldest niece, she's already graduated. She's over at Clemson now. And I've never gotten to congratulate her on graduating. So I want to say congratulations to her for having a vet. She is going to be a vet at Clemson. And, man, it's hard for me as a Gamecock. Man, it's tough to support family as Clemson Tigers. But I fight down deep, and I know it's for the betterment of the family. So, man, you know, we were going to talk some young ladies tonight, and so I wanted to shout out, obviously, your daughters, Brandon. I wanted to shout out my sister's daughters. Shout out to you, Michelle, also. I'm sure you're watching. Katie, everybody that was there at Ashley's graduation, anybody that supports my nieces, my family, like yourself, Brandon, like yourself, Uncle Poops, like Greg, anybody that does anything they can to help me, my family, and, you know, just being there to talk to or whatever the case may be. Hey, we talk sports, but it's more about real life. So if anybody ever needs to have one of those real life conversations or one of those real sports conversations, we are here for you.
Y'all, I got to introduce somebody very special right here, right now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, this man is a legend. He has coached often, coached frequently, one of the best offenses you will ever see. Ladies and gentlemen, can I get a round of applause for my man, Coach Bob Spire is in the house. Woo!
What's up, Brandon? Hey, guys. How y'all doing?
Hey, man, we're doing well.
Welcome,
Thank you
Coach.
so much for joining us, my friend.
I really appreciate that, Brandon. I hate to spring it on you, but my son was just in here getting all the technology hooked up. And I don't know if you remember Hayden or not, but, you know, he was our quarterback in 2013 in North Gwinnett. We unfortunately lost in the state championship to Norcross, but, you know, he had a great senior season. And
I remember. Do you still talk to Michael Tamburo?
But he's actually our offensive coordinator. I flipped over on the dark side. I'm the defensive coordinator now. So,
no.
But the hopefully the trend continues and it's even better because under Hayden's leadership last year, offensively, our team was the only one in Kentucky that we're aware of. We could be missing some stats somewhere, but we're the only team in Kentucky we're aware of that passed and rushed for over 3,000 yards each. So, yeah,
That's what's up. See,
so
guys, I told you, he runs the best offense.
Yeah, he's keeping the train rolling pretty good.
And I'm so happy to have you on, Bob. You know, we've known each other for a while, and you know, I had a blast covering you. I got to tell you, I looked forward to every Friday night getting to go and see you guys, getting to come to, I think they call it the Bulldogs house or whatever. I can't remember, but getting to see you guys rocked it. And I mean, oh, it was so much fun. And I'm so blessed to get the chance to have you come on my show, sir. Tell us, what is new with the great coach Bob Spire, please?
Well, you know, made the transition up to Kentucky a couple of years ago. And, you know, originally that's where my roots are. And that's early in my career. That's, you know, I actually started the program from scratch at Lexington Catholic, which has had you know, pretty good annual success. And took us a couple of years to get it going as a brand new program. But once we did, we were competed at a high level. And, you know, just really after the fourth year into it is, you know, which goes all the way back to 95. That's when we went spread. And that was really kind of ahead of the curve and clearly ahead of the curve in a lot of ways. In fact, you know, I guess it was 2 or 3 years later when Mike Leach and Hal Mummy and all those guys, you know, came to Kentucky. So, you know, myself, there was really a guy in Leslie County that coached Tim Couch that kind of got the ball rolling for all of us. And then another guy that I actually played quarterback against in high school, a guy named Mike Holcomb. We graduated the same year and we competed against each other in the same district. And he went spread at Breathitt County and we went spread at Lexington Catholic. We were probably the three schools that kind of got the ball rolling. And Bobby Redmond at Louisville Male, Chris Redmond's dad, was throwing it a lot and spreading it around a lot. So he had a big impact in the Louisville area at Louisville Male.
Wait, the Chris Redmond from the Atlanta Falcons?
Yeah. His dad was a longtime high school coach in the city of Louisville and had a few programs. And one of them, he spent most of his career at Louisville Male, which is actually the number 2 all-time winningest program in high school football behind Valdosta. The program where I am now, Highlands High School, is actually number 5 all-time in nationally in wins, and it's won 23 state championships. But when I took the job, and I wasn't really looking to leave Georgia, you know, but when I took the job, one of my former players is the athletic director at Highlands, and he had played college ball at Middle Tennessee. And a lot of things just kind of fell into place unexpectedly, and it just kind of happened. But the program had lost its way, and they were down to winning 2 games a year. You know, they won 2 games a year before I came, and and their best players were leaving, and you know, some of that stuff. So the program was struggling, and it didn't get to have an off season, and came and somehow we won 5 games. The kids played hard. The kids were very coachable. They were just looking for a plan. And then the next year we lost to, you know, how I am with scheduling, Brandon. You know, we scheduled the defending 5A state champions to open that next year at Western Kentucky, and we got shellacked pretty good. But I knew we had, just after that first off season, I knew we were a lot better than that. It just, they were the hot team and well coached, and you know how things can kind of get rolling in a game like that. And then we lost to a 2-point game the next week to probably the best 6A team in Northern Kentucky that year. We're 5A and getting ready to transition to 4A. We've got about 1,000 kids in the school. But I knew we'd gotten a lot better. And then we ripped off 9 in a row and got into the playoffs and lost to a really good traditional team in Scott County High School, which is in Georgetown, Kentucky. But and then last year we got to the semifinals and lost on a late field goal by 2, and so we were really knocking on the door to compete for a state championship. So.
Well, see, that is why I've always attributed you to success. I know what you're capable of. I know what you do and how you coach. And y'all, when I tell you, Coach Spire is legit, he is legit. I talked with you, the year you guys went to the state, and that's kind of when I really started to get going with you guys. But I remember you and I had a conversation about who your mentor was, and you had told me you kind of favored a little bit with June Jones, Mouse Davis. That's how you kind of
studied a lot of the run and shoot stuff early when I went.
Yeah, that's what you did.
And do you remember, Brandon, which college I kind of patterned most of our stuff off originally? Do you remember?
Ooh, I don't think it wasn't Texas Tech, was it?
No, it was way back in the day. Do you remember at all Bobby Bowden's team when he had Charlie Ward and
Yes.
I had a chance to study. Sparky Woods had all that information and so I had a chance to kind of get a hold of all their one back stuff, and they ran a lot of two back stuff too, but a lot of their one back mirror route stuff, and kind of just evolved our own system. Studied the run and shoot stuff. Studied what Florida State was doing. Obviously studied the West Coast stuff. That was a heavy influence on what we decided to do. So we built, just some really key concepts that we were able to just continue to build off of. And even to this day, they're still, the big hub of what we do and how we do it. But there's so many, guys, there's so many variables that come into having a successful system, and one of the keys obviously is you can't just be a robot. It can't be the same every year. You don't have the same personnel every year. You don't have the quarterback we had this year is going to Middle Tennessee to play tight end. He's very similar to CJ Uzama, the kid who we had this year.
Ooh,
Brody Binky I just went to his graduation party. He's 6'4", he's 255 now. He was 230 when he played for us. But we also had a sophomore quarterback that's more like a Mikey Tamburo, more like everybody wants to have a Patrick Mahomes, but on the high school level, that's kind of what our next quarterback is, Rio Littmer. And Rio threw for, like 1,800 yards last year, and we would split Brody out. You remember how we did with CJ, and he played a lot of receiver and tight end because we knew that's what he was going to play in college. We were able to do the same thing with Brody because I had Scotty Hush at that time, who was our backup quarterback. He ended up playing at Harvard, but Rio is going to be his program the next 2 years. But so it was Brody's team, but Rio played a lot, and it wasn't just mop up time; it was significant time. And there were a lot of times where it was to our advantage to have Brody at receiver because nobody could match up to him. He was a big-bodied receiver like CJ. So, but you can't do the same things. I go, certain years our screen game was really the key, and other years our vertical game was the key. Other years all our mesh and crossing route stuff might be the key. Other years really we might be almost exclusively a free release, quick game team. It varies. But the one thing I've always felt also, having grown up as a wishbone quarterback, a triple option quarterback.
and we talked about that today, actually.
Yeah. And then when I started the program at Lexington Catholic and I had kids that had never played football before, I actually ran the wing T for 4 years before we went to the spread, so we could just have a repetitive fundamental system for them.
Right.
But then once they knew how to play football, then that's when we opened it up. But having that in my roots, we've never gone away from having a legitimate run game. And I do think that's one of the devils in the detail, people that get carried away with the spread. Now I've been my own worst enemy sometimes. I got way out ahead on the RPO stuff really early in the process, and I got too far down the road. I remember there was a season or two where everything was one word call, and it meant the formation, it meant the play, it meant the concept, and if it's this look, then it's this, if it's that, you hand it off, and I got too carried away with that, and that started affecting our run game significantly because your offensive linemen, have to be gun shy about being downfield. They have to, it just, and your receivers quit blocking completely because everything is RPO. Everything is contingent upon the defense having to respond. And so they no longer block anymore. And that's a mistake. And I've pulled back the reins on that because you get too far away from fundamental football, and it's high school football. And we're still responsible for teaching fundamentals. So, there's just so many devils in the detail, and you can't ever get bored with it, and you can't ever get stale with it, and you can't ever just say, well, we've got it figured out, because you don't have it figured out, because next year the kids are different, and even the coaches are different. They've got different ideas. You cycle. I've cycled through so many good coaches, and it's been a blessing. And I've always tried to help those guys get opportunities, and I've never wanted to hold them back. And I hope our program, But with that being said, you always get a lot of turnover, which I embrace that, because it brings a freshness to me. So I'm probably getting ahead of some questions that you guys have. So jump in there.
So I actually have the first question I'm listening to is JD.
First of all, I was just going to comment and say, man, you have a tremendous memory just to be able to, you knocked down a ton of my questions. I had so much reaction.
Well, I can give more details on them or whatever. So you just
right. Hey, it was great. No, I was listening intently, sir. And it's funny, you mentioned a lot of that simplicity over time, and you can't do the same things because you get different coaches, you get different players. And one thing I was going to comment on is my high school, Clinton High School. We've only had 2 1,000-yard passers in our very illustrious, career, where we've won, 10 state championships, over 50 years. But we had, 50 plus 1,000-yard rushers. And so it's all about simplifying the game for your players. Mm-hmm. And so I was going to ask, how do you do that on a year-to-year basis? How do you simplify it for your, is it geometry? What tools are you using to simplify it for your players year to year?
JD, I'm gonna have to confess a little bit of honesty in that I do think if you're going to play for us, you got to study the game, and you got to really hang on to be abreast of what we want to teach. I do think we're good teachers, and I think we have, every year we work out our very detailed install process, and what I always say, with Hayden, that where are we with our order of install, and can we, are we on track? Did we plan it out properly? Or do we need to step back? Have we gotten too far? Are we sure we're ready to move on to the next step in the install process? So that takes I think part of some coaches are a little bit intimidated by going the route we go, because it does take a lot of work, and I don't want to accuse somebody of being lazy. It just can be intimidating because particularly if you had success last year in the old model, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I just think that's kind of short-sighted, because once again, the pieces are always a little bit different. You have to know your personnel, but back to your question, I think our process of teaching is very, very effective. And I think the way that we practice, that might have been, I think, the thing going back, even when I was a graduate assistant early in my career at Western Kentucky under a guy named Jimmy Fikes. And he was like obsessive compulsive with the practice schedule. I mean, he was OCD to the max with the practice schedule. But it was great training for me as a young coach early in my career. And I do think practice planning and our practice organization has been probably the key. It marries up with how we want to teach and the order of our installation and how we want to teach. And then over the years, we've learned kind of what fundamentals at each position you have to teach in the same order that you install your systems and your schemes. And, it's not something that somebody can just walk in, though, JD, and just like, we can have one meeting on the board and they're ready to go. But I go back when I coached the Horsemen, which was the indoor team that played in Rupp Arena. I might go. We might cut a player on Thursday, and pick up a guy on Friday and play with him on Saturday. And so and those guys were obviously were veteran football players, but we could put a wristband on them, and we had the system down to where on the wristband they off the call they knew what to do. They kind of had the dummy band system that we could use, that there's ways to teach it in a schedule.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If a player has good fundamentals, you can certainly bring them in. But I wanted to comment on one thing you did mention there. You mentioned something about doing the hard work and being lazy there in your response. And that is what separates great. You were mentioning, you didn't want to call certain coaches lazy for not wanting to put in the hard work and the research or the coaching or the teaching. Coaches are teachers. And I myself, I went to school to be a teacher and a coach. I did give up on the teacher dream. Therefore, I never got to do the coaching dream.
That separates a lot of them out.
Right. Well, and Brandon, as a former coach, myself, who hopefully will coach my two sons in baseball, that is the difference, though, in greatness. Either you're going to be lazy or you're going to put in the work. You're going to do and learn the fundamentals that you need to learn. And somebody, I think it was Jay Frew, mentioned the Kingston, something on Kingston. So, yeah, we'll talk about him in a little bit in fundamentals. But, that to me, that's the difference.
Well, but JD, I'll say I want to make sure I say this, like your program that you mentioned that you grew up around, and the 10 state championships and the success running the football leading to winning on the field. They can't be lazy. There's no way that just because they're not kind of re-breaking it and resorting it every year. I guarantee you they're still tweaking it in their own ways. I guarantee you they still have a way of emphasizing certain strengths of the roster on any given year within that system. It may not be as flamboyant. Obviously Brandon, loves the style. And people say, style doesn't win championships or just sells tickets, whatever. On a high school level, I don't know that I agree with that either. From the standpoint, if you're going to get the kids to come out and play, if you're going to get everybody engaged and wanting to be a part of it, there's nothing wrong with putting up big numbers statistically. Now, they also I had the old motto, statistics are for losers. They want to point out statistics because they didn't win the game, and nobody wants to throw for 600 yards and lose the damn game.
Right. Hey, here, I'll tell you what, Bob, let me ask you this question. So this is true stat from one of when I was in high school in 2005. We had 2,000-yard running backs. So I'll give you the quick stats real quick. We had one running back 9 for 90. We had one running back for 15 for 120. And we had a quarterback that went 2 for 3 for 90 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Win or lose that game?
I would think you won that game.
Exactly. If you're a good enough coach, I think you can come up with a winning recipe at any stage, any sport, really. It's all about how good of a teacher you want to be. And I'm attributing this to you. You're a great teacher.
We had a couple of games this year where we did not throw it very much at all in those games because of what we were getting defensively with a light run box and the kids up here will work. They're very similar to what we had in Sewanee in terms of the type of kids, the type of families, et cetera. Our kids will work. And so when I got up here, we had one lineman over 250 pounds. Our offensive line next year will probably average 285. Across the line, and we'll play with one right now will be about 315, one will be about 305. Probably the lightest one will be 255. But we had some games where we were just rolling people off the ball, and our quarterback was this once again 6'4", 230, and he was a load, and he rushed for over 1,000 yards, and so we didn't put the ball in jeopardy. We didn't have to, and so we that's the beauty of our system. We have the ability to do those things, and I think one of the biggest keys on how good we are from year to year is, can we find tight ends? Can we find tight end sniffer back type guys?
Yeah.
Those guys,
tight end.
they can make you so multiple in terms of what we can do. Our schemes fit to where we can still do so much wide open stuff, but then you have to play the run game, and
Right.
sometimes those guys are hard to find though. And we don't have to have them necessarily going to play tight end at Notre Dame to be effective, but they're still hard to find sometimes. That team that Hayden played on in 13 when we had Daniel Amatabebe, and he was that guy that could play as a closed tight end. He could split out and be an effective spread receiver. Those kind of goals are like that. When you have that, you kind of have the holy grail, because defense doesn't know what you're going to be in. They don't know whether they need an extra down in the game or whether they need an extra DB in the game.
That's very true. I mean, I will tell you this, Bob. I played at Roswell High School. I think I told you that. Yeah, I played at Roswell High School. I was one of the best tight ends actually to come out of the state of Georgia until I tore my ACL and MCL. I can attribute to hard work equals success, and when you say tight ends make or break the game, that really is true. We were kind of we were still in that pro style of offense, but we mixed in a little bit more of the spread. So I got the benefit from having a lot of open passes. I will tell you, I had to play against some very tough opponents. I played against a guy, you might know who he is, Jeff Francoeur, played for Parkview High School.
Yeah,
I played the 2 years that we played against them. I got one catch for 18 yards. That was literally all I got against him. Do what?
Did you play for Tim?
I did. I played for Tim, and I also played for Coach Manus. They were my number ones.
Really good ball coaches. Really, really good ball.
They are. My favorite saying by Coach Manus was, he always called us heroes, and he would be, "Don't be the big hero, be the regular hero." Coach Manus was the best. Coach Mack, he was hard, but he was solid at what he did. He didn't give you excuses for what you did or didn't do right. He said, work on doing this better because you can be better. He practiced the fundamentals with us, but he also knew what we were capable of and going above that next level. We had that ability to outshine others. And what him and Coach Manus did was they would go inside you and be like, push yourself above the limit. You know what you're capable of. And when you get going, you're going to have a lot of fun. Sure enough, we had a ton of fun doing what we did. And, I miss those days. I don't know if you heard me come in the beginning, but I have 3 girls with another one on the way. So we have.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And my wife, who actually is sitting next to me watching this too, she was a softball girl her entire life.
Okay.
And my daughter, Addison, is a softball girl now too. She's also a basketball girl. So Cassie is very good at teaching the basics, but she wants to see you do what she knows you're capable of doing. And Addison started out, she was struggling, but by the end of the season, she did phenomenal. She ended up having, I believe it was 10 doubles this season. That's unheard of for a little girl who's never played, and she just went camp. She had a blast. So my wife is a lot like you with finding the inside athlete, knowing what you're capable of. And yes, you do have those moments where you're going to struggle. I mean, Addison did go through a 3-game slump where she didn't get a single hit. She would down herself, but we said, don't doubt yourself. It will come. We did that. We said it to a lot of her players in the team, and probably the final 6 games, we knew they were all going to turn on, and sure enough, they all turned it on. And you could always count on 2 or 3 innings where they were all getting hits. They were all scoring runs. They were having a blast. They were smiling. They were dialed, and they knew what they were capable of. So, I attribute a lot of my coaching aspects. I coached youth basketball in Duluth. I coached also at the YMCA. I coached at Avondale High School. So I knew, based off of what Coach Mack and Coach Mann has taught us, is to believe in yourself, teach that every player can do what they know they can do, and then some. You'll be amazed at what they can accomplish. I don't know if you knew this, Bob, but Avondale High School girls basketball, up until the last year of existence, they had won 2 games in like a 5-year period. They were really bad.
Oh,
they got so bad. The game before I took over as a volunteer coach for that program, because, DeKalb County doesn't pay anybody worth anything back then. So at the end of the game, they lost 56-4. I kid you not, that was the score. And they had no head coach. They had just somebody who stepped in and hoping that they could help out the school. And I said, I'll help you. I know what I'm capable of doing. Bob, that year, the final year of existence, they went from winning 2 games in 5 years to going to the second round of the regional tournament.
Oh my goodness!
They lost. We lost to Beaufort High School. Now we lost 108-56, but you know what though? That was the most wins they had in that 5-year period. We got 11 wins that year. It was a great accomplishment for the school, for everybody. The fans believed in the program again. They thought it was going to be a forever going, but then unfortunately, how schools are. They close down when they get redistricted over and over and over, and a lot of the schools redistrict themselves. So it's good to be an influential individual in every person's lives. And like I said, you were very inspirational to me, because I know what you believed in. You practiced what you preached, and you are a phenomenal coach. Now my man Shane here, he's been waiting patiently, and I'm so thankful
he's been waiting.
Shane, I know you have some questions, man. Please ask away, brother. We want to hear your questions, man.
Oh yeah, well, Bob, after hearing that you were going to be on the show, man, I had to dig in, do a little bit of research. Hey, you started a program in 1992 in Lexington Catholic. Like you said, you had some turmoil first couple of years, but man, you created such a level of success at that program and sustained that success, and then that just followed you on to all your future coaching endeavors and all that. And I have really enjoyed seeing that and the level of success that you had throughout your coaching career. And into the future. I did see that your son is the offensive coordinator there, and y'all did have some monster stats last year. Monster stats.
And it's relative. Kentucky's not Georgia, but it was a really good program. I mean, a really good tough schedule. In Kentucky, all of our non-district games, they call them districts up here instead of regions, in terms of they equate what regions are in Georgia. But our non-district games, we played a very difficult schedule, and our kids, once again, they balled out pretty good all year. Shane, that's interesting you say that. I was going to ask you all about South Carolina high school football, and one of the guys that I've always a young coach that I think's got a really bright future is a guy named Brett Sloan. And are you all familiar with Brett? And I think he might be at Easley.
Oh, yep.
He was with Easley. He was with Bobby Bentley at Burns, and then he came to Georgia.
Yeah,
and
he actually just got hired at Easley's head coach.
Yeah, Brett and I have been good friends, and I see Brett periodically at conferences and stuff, and we always talk ball, and we always talk spread stuff and talk about that stuff. So, I just wonder what's the prospects look for his program?
So I will tell you this: Easley's had a lot of trouble. Hold on, Easley's had a lot of trouble in the past. My wife is an Easley grad and class of 04, and I will tell you this: that my brother-in-law played for Easley, and at one time Easley was a dominant program. Okay. As time's gone by, they've redistricted and resized the schools and that kind of stuff. They've kind of fallen off. When we moved up here. In 19, we went to a couple of their games, and they looked very lost. And I was like, they don't have that it factor that they could have. And I think it's probably been in the last 2 or 3 years they've turned it around per se.
I think last year
They're
was
not
his first or second year there. I don't remember whether last year was his first or his second year there.
I believe it was his first.
Okay.
They've turned it around. They still have a couple, maybe a year or two to go to really find the pieces to benefit their program. Last year they won 6 games, which was more than they were actually predicted to win.
Okay.
So they had better opportunities. And I'm also the producer of Burns High School football for a radio station up here, the Fan Upstate in Greenville. We cover all their games at Burns High School. Burns is a phenomenal program, but kind of how teams are with fans is if you do bad, it's fire them, we hate them, down they go, get the pitchforks going. That is very true for Burns fans. That is always how it's been. From what I've been told.
Right now, I haven't kept up with them.
Actually, Burns, they made it to the second round, and here's where it really hurt. They were up 17-0 going into the fourth quarter. They ended up losing on some really boneheaded plays by the quarterback. He fumbled the ball, or he would cause a horrible penalty that would back them up, and then he'd turn the ball right after that play. So it was really hard on Burns. The future does look bright for Burns. The future does look better for Easley. Do I think Easley could maybe get into a championship? Oh, absolutely. I think, but maybe I'd say about 2 years, because you do have Pickens. Pickens is a good high school. You have Liberty. You have, there's so many that you can. It's hard to name, and the regions here are different than what you and I know about Georgia. Georgia. I don't know if you knew about this, Bob. Georgia has gone away with a lot of sub-regions. You remember how they had 7 quad A, 8 quad A, 9 quad A even. Now it's 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7 quad A. And 7 quad A is loaded because they have removed 8 quad A and the 9 quad A. They've really merged it all together.
Yeah, I think they've gone back to 6 classifications, from what I understand.
Yeah, they've gone down. And it's really interesting to see what's going to happen with Georgia. Because you had teams like Milton High School who moved up, but now they're having to move down. And you got to wonder, are they going to play to the level of their competition? Are they going to play better? It's always those kind of questions. That's the same way you look at Easley. Can Easley be better? Oh, absolutely. They can be a whole lot better. I think they're in the right direction. I love the style of offense. As you know, I'm the spread guy. Yeah. They run a spread offense. They run a phenomenal offense.
I figured you'd like what Brett was doing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love it. And, JD and I had talked about this, all last season of how his school is more of like a wishbone kind of a wing T offense. They run. You don't see that. And then I told you, I think that's a dying breed. You don't see a lot of that really anymore in football. It's more of the pass, the RPO, the spread options. I don't know very many schools. I don't even think Duluth High School
actually it creates some advantages for them in today's world, because it's so unique anymore that when you do have to face it, it's like we lost that 2 years ago when we lost in the playoffs after we had ripped off 9 in a row. We lost to a wing T team, and we really lost the game in the first quarter before our kids fully adjusted, because you just can't simulate it on the practice field. A team that can effectively run it. You just don't see it, and we didn't see anything like it during the regular season. So it's actually to their advantage sometimes if they're and the guy that's there has been the head coach for like 30 years, and so that they've got every little trick in the trade. Shane, I feel like I kind of cut you off with some of this. I had some questions. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's fine. And, it actually played pretty good into, a segment, that I was going to go into, as you were asking about, South Carolina high school football, the story is around here in 1 and 2A, even 3A football. I live in small town Sherrall, South Carolina, and the state championship in football runs through Highway 9. It doesn't matter. There's about 4 or 5 schools within about an hour stretch on Highway 9 that I'd say probably in the past 30 years probably have racked up, I'd say 20 championships over different divisions here lately. But I played, small town. We were a 1A school. I played under Coach Tannehill. Came out
Oh
of
yeah.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
I actually played left guard at
Okay.
195 pounds. So, but we were a spread team. I mean, and you were talking about buying in and getting people to buy into the program. Hey, every Thursday night we had rallies out at the Piggly Wiggly up on a flatbed.
High school football, man. It's small town America, and that's what high school football is.
People bought in, and I mean, even the kids in the school. I mean, I only played my senior year there in Chesterfield for Tannehill for that one season, but we went to a state championship, enjoyed it, lost by 1 point, devastating.
That's heartbreaking. That's tough. That's
yes, tough. but we only had 3 players that went both ways. In a small school like that, we had 3 players that went both ways, dedicated both ways. We had some to come in and out, but 3 dedicated players both ways, and at a 1A school, it gave us the advantage. And Coach T would tell us, hey, we're running a spread, zone blocking schemes, keep it simple, but keep it fast, keep it moving, a lot of
that goes back to what I talked about. People wanted to play for him, wanted to play in that program, wanted to play in that system.
Oh yeah. But hey, spread the field. Hey, first, second, third quarters, we're gonna fight. But guess what? We're gonna a few 4 and 5 letter words in there, but we're gonna win the 4th quarter. And that's one thing that I know you've had that chance of getting to those championships and stuff like that. One of the questions I wanted to ask, are there any kind of unique stories off of any of those teams that you can remember specifically that might be interesting out here to these mixed nuts?
Oh, gosh dang, there's all kinds of stories, and some of those are even staff related to me that are hilarious, and not necessarily be a state championship game. But I was telling the story the other day that I had a guy, Jeff Carlberg, who's still on staff down at North Gwinnett, but I had hired him at Lexington Catholic to be my defensive coordinator, and this would have been in the mid-'90s. And we were getting ready to open up here in Kentucky against Beechwood High School, who had won. I think they'd won 4 in a row because their mantra was "one for the thumb." So they were wanting to go for their 5th straight state championship. So we opened the season with them, and I'd hired Jeff, and he had been on staff as a GA, and then as a young coach at the University of Louisville under Howard Snellenberger. And he brought the 4-3 Miami, basically the 4-3 Miami system to install it at Lexington Catholic. And we're getting ready to play Beechwood, and they spread it around some then, but they mostly were downhill out of the I formation. And they had a really good tailback that was returning from the state championship team the year before. And so Jeff's all excited. He's going, I've got this run blitz I'm going to call on the very first call of the game because I feel like they're going to run this play. I just know that's what they're going to do. They're going to turn around, hand it off to him. I think it was sprint, draw, or blast. And I'm like, okay, it's great. You've broken down their tendencies. You feel like that's what they're going to open the game with. Have it. Well, sure enough, we kick it off in the end zone, and they start 1st and 10 on the 20. And sure enough, they run that exact play. And we have about 8 guys that hit him in the hole for no gain. And then all of a sudden, he comes spinning out of the stack. And here he goes down the sideline 80 yards. I think we had 8 guys hit him.
What do you mean? You had him right there.
And you had one job.
and you have to know Jeff. Jeff is Scandinavian. He's a Carlberg. He's Scandinavian. He's white skinned, red-headed, and so he is turned beet red. His face is beet freaking red. And I just walked by and I slapped him on the behind. I said, "Nice debut," and just kept walking. And I just turned around and looked, and he just burst out laughing because what can you do? I mean,
You can't say anything to that. You could have got to laugh.
you had the perfect call. They just had the better player, and it's just like, let's go ahead and break the ice here, dude, because I just tried to turn it into something we could just laugh about 30 years later, which basically I was just telling that story the other day. So, I think a lot of my memories go back to some of the staff relationships like that and some of the things that happened. Well, I've coached with so many great guys. I look at that staff we had at North Gwinnett with Mo Dixon and Byron Shells and Philip Hale and, just guys that were, they were just Chuck Allen, who's now just took the offensive line job at Grayson this spring.
Really?
Yeah, there were just so many good coaches on that staff, and I had great coaches down at Camden. And JD, I want to ask you, what high school are you referring to that's the wing T?
Well, it wasn't really wing T. We were more power run game. So I mean, we would hit you.
Jeff Herron, I thought maybe it was where Jeff Herron was. That's why I was asking.
No. It's Clinton High School. Clinton.
Okay.
Clinton. Most people pronounce it Clinton.
Clinton.
Yeah, Clinton. Where the T is silent, but it's sweet, baby.
But I had so many good coaches down at Camden County, like Matt Mays, who runs the strength program there and coaches D-line. I still think he's the best strength coach I've ever seen.
Yeah. We ran a few. Man, there's so. That's what I kind of wanted to get into you a little bit about. But gosh, Bob, you nailed everything we've asked you about. We can't get into anything any further. But
I've probably taken up way too much of your all's time.
No. Dude, it's been great. Hey, you told us everything. I'm glad you don't ever get tortured or anything. Give up all the information. You would give it up. You would give it all up.
I don't have to get tortured. I'll spill the beans right off the bat.
I don't think you gave anything away. I
hope that's one of the things when they look back.
Hey, I enjoyed listening. Shane, here, tell him your thought. Hey, I'll let you wrap it up here.
Go ahead, Shane.
Oh yeah, man. Well, hey, I enjoy stories. Being from a small town and being around such a football environment in our small towns around here, man, I enjoy having a chance to talk and everybody does with such a prolific coach and everything. And Bob, I'm just so grateful you came on and talked with us tonight.
Absolutely.
Definitely your stories, everything else. Hey, we could go another hour talking, but I know we can't.
I try to be an open book.
Hey, Bob, that's what I'm worried about. So last episode, Brandon's headphones cut off, and I tried to throw it back to Brandon, and I was like, Brandon.
Oh my gosh, I was so frustrated.
So we had a headphone issue. But hey, no, listen, why do you think we didn't interrupt you, bro? We were just listening to all that.
Well, I'd like to give back in some way, whether it's to the media, whether it's to just fans or whatever. I got a call yesterday. I was talking to a guy. He asked me about. He said, "Would you be open to?" There's an American football team over in Munich, Germany, that has asked if they could come and send like a dozen of their coaches for a couple of weeks to shadow a coach, shadow the staff, shadow the program. I said, man, I would embrace that. I've tried to get to the game. I've tried to get back to the game. Send them over here. We'll figure out how we can help them.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, they got over here and they were talking about the wrong kind of football, weren't they?
No, I went on their website. It's the Munich Bulldogs, and they are jacked up about American football, brother.
Really? I've mentioned it on this show. NFL, it might be bigger than the Olympics someday.
They are jacked up about over there. They're looking for somebody that would help mentor them in some way. And what we talked about, they may come over for like 2 weeks of our spring practice and then come back in the fall to see how that's transitioned into our game planning during a game week, et cetera. I said, if we can do anything to help, we'll do whatever. I've always loved that. I had so many coaches that helped me along the way, and I just have always tried to do that.
Man, that's
guys.
Shane.
His name
Hey,
is
Enjoy it, guys. You all probably got other segments you got to do. I'll let you guys go.
Oh no,
everybody.
hey, no,
His
you're
name
saying,
is Bob Spire. He
Yeah.
is a legend. He is a inspirational individual, one that I have cherished for a long time. Bob, I know I'm gonna have you on again because I love getting to catch with you. And hopefully in the next year or so, I'll be able to make it up to Kentucky to come check you guys out. Like old times.
Come on, man.
I'm ready to see quality football.
This is a great area. I'm right. I can see Paul Brown Stadium from a front porch.
Oh, nice.
I'm looking at the Ohio River.
I'm more jealous. Come on now.
Cincinnati from a front porch. I can see Paul Brown Stadium from a front porch.
Oh man.
Oh man, you just made us more jealous. Come on now, guys.
All right, guys.
Please give your shout outs to Bob before he goes. JD, you first.
Hey, Bob, thank you so much for joining us. Hey, absolutely. I want to hear about the experience that you're talking about with the overseas people when they come, man. Hey,
I hope that works out.
Great.
I don't know it will,
dude,
but I hope it does.
Hey, yeah, if it comes together, we want to hear about it regardless. We want to talk to you again. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the stories. Hey, laziness versus hard work. If you want to be great people, the Sportz Nutz here, we're going to put in the hard work. It's up to you if you're going to be lazy or not.
Yeah, right. I don't want coaches thinking I'm calling them lazy now. I want to be careful about that.
No, we never said anything like that. Bob never said anything like that.
All right, Shane, give your shout outs, my man.
Yeah, hey Bob, I appreciate you coming on. As JD said about the hard work, my dad always instilled in me, hey, Kent never did do a darn thing. So
hey, there you go.
So that's one of the things, I pick up. Hey, look forward to having you on again in the future. And hey, I'm more than interested to hear some more stories. So whenever you want to talk, I'm ready.
Well, I've enjoyed it. Brandon, appreciate you asking me.
Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate you. And you and we will keep in touch. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to our lifelong friendship, sir.
All right, brother. See you guys.
Take care. My friends, I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed getting to talk to one of the best. So you know what, though? We still have a good show to go. So without further ado, I'm going to show everybody a picture here now. All right. And I want you guys to study it. You're going to, and I want you guys to say, what is this picture for? Well, you know what, though? I'm about to tell you. Here's the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you see what it says on the picture? This is the location of every 2022-23 bowl game. What do you guys see on this picture that is not pictured? That's a good question, right? Fans, chime in on the chat. Everywhere we are, I want you guys to tell us, what do you see different about this picture? You know what? I'm going to tell you. There are hardly any northern bowl games, mid-northwestern, and even the northwestern bowl games. You don't see a lot. We have heard through the grapevine, who is actually 24/7 Sports, there is a push for more bowl games to be introduced. Now, we've seen cities mentioned of Buffalo, Syracuse, Ann Arbor, Michigan, and even Minnesota being mentioned as possible destinations for new bowl games. Now, my question to you guys is this, and I want the fans on the stream to chime in as well. What 5 cities do you think should host new bowl games and why? Also, do you think there should be more bowl games introduced and even more bowl games in the playoffs? Now, obviously, our man Greg is he's off doing an assignment with the Atlanta Braves. More power to him, because he's a season ticket holder. I'm going to start with Shane.
Hey, can we get that live report? I don't even know what happened with the Braves. Can I get a live report real quick? Like, seriously,
right, so
I don't know if they're winning or not. Like, I really don't.
I don't know either. We're actually watching Alabama beat Duke.
I'll find out. I got World Series behind me. I'll find out about the Braves. Y'all go ahead though.
So, Shane, Give me what I want you to name 5 cities you think should host a new bowl game and why. And there's 2 other questions. Do you think there should be more bowl games introduced and maybe even more CFP playoff games introduced? What do you think, my friend? I want you to go. The floor is yours, sir.
And I think that the landscape of all of the bowl games, especially with the championship playoff format going to 12 teams now the next year, I think all that's going to change the landscape of the bowl systems. You're going to see corporate sponsors competing to be part of this college football playoff and their bowl system. We already see it with the New Year's 6 bowls. How they are rotating with the 4 playoff games. So or the 4 playoff teams. But I see that's changed a lot in the landscape of the bowl system and structure the way it is. I mean, you look at it. We see Georgia Tech and Florida State. They're opening the season in Dublin, Ireland, right now. You have so many NFL games moving more and more towards overseas. I mean, Jacksonville Jaguars, they spent last season in England for 2 weeks and going to do it again this season. So, I mean, the global notoriety of the game is coming, it's coming to the forefront. And could I see maybe a potential, Wembley Stadium bowl game in the mix? I would not count that out at this point, especially with the nature of the game as it is. I look at it, and with your map, the northern cities and the northwest and stuff, it's it's one of the things that hampers that area, just because there's you do have some bowl or some bowl games in the area, but don't have a select few that are going to stay there for years, and there have been few in the most recent years up there, but it's a bigger thing. I think, I guess, football is an outdoor sport. We play it in the elements, but what a lot of these bowl committees and stuff like that have to keep in mind is the financial responsibility that they have into it. So whenever you look at that, the travel for the teams to get there. And then not only that, but a lot of times when you go to bowl games, you're not in the same region that your fan base is in, so they're traveling to the game as well. I mean, we see it in the NFL, especially going up to Buffalo. They gotta sometimes postpone games because of the weather. So that's one thing that I think they take into consideration. But when you talk about the 5 cities, man, Minnesota, they spent all this money on this brand new dome. And what, they got a Super Bowl out of it, but we can't put a football game, college football playoff game there. It's a big venue. I mean, they spent billions of dollars. And then you look at Indianapolis and Lucas Oil. They don't have a bowl game, but they host the Big Ten championship game. So
here's a look at the map again, y'all.
That's one area that they already have a major college football game in that location, but they can't seem to produce it into a bowl game. Shout out to buddy watching now, Mr. Ross Lawrence, is a big Kansas City fan. Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium, so many NFL games. It feels so much like a college atmosphere that why can't we have a college bowl game there? I mean, I think that would be a great place to have one. That's just some of the few, that I can think of, and that's only because I think, the NFL stadiums in those areas are going to be the most venues that are going to be ready to house a game of that magnitude. So I think you've got to look in that direction when you're talking about that.
So, before we go to Mr. Debbie Downer over here, JD. So
I'm just delightful today. Don't you put that evil on me.
So, I wouldn't mind seeing it being held maybe in Seattle. I mean, that is an incredible town, to be a part of a football atmosphere. Who remembers the what was it? Marshawn Lynch run that actually sparked an earthquake registration. So they get Yeah, the beast mode game. They get
Speaking of Friday
behind.
night, can I get some Skittles? I need some movie snacks.
Oh Lord, here
I
we go.
need some movies.
Wait. Cassie, we'll get some popcorn. Get the popcorn ready for JD here. Guys, I'm going to tell you this now. I think it should be expanded. And the reason why is we're going to be seeing more games. We know already the 12 team starts this year. We know the 16 is coming. And then there was talks that JD and I and Shane mentioned this recently is, are we going to see even an 18 or a 20? I mean, heck, are we going to go back to the FCS style of play where anybody and everybody gets a chance to play? We don't know. So I think it's going to happen. Do I think it should be in places like Buffalo? No. Now, Syracuse, on the other hand, they have the dome. They can play in the dome. Absolutely. That's a great environment, too. In case you guys have forgotten, which I know JD hasn't, Clemson struggles every time they go play in Syracuse. Almost every team that goes into Syracuse struggles. Why? It's just in a completely different environment. It's hard to explain why. Our friend here, Darren, has chimed in, said that won't happen. The weather is trash up there. Darren, elaborate, brother, please, because I don't think the weather is necessarily trash up there because it is cold up there. Yes, but remember, you were also in the South.
Darren, well, first of all, I can tell you one thing that I don't know where you're regarding the weather is trash, but if you're in a dome,
it doesn't matter.
72 degrees no matter what.
I mean, if you're in a dome, the weather don't matter. So I'm not sure by what you mean the weather is trash up there. One I will mention that was trash, though, speaking of these bowl games, was the New York Pinstripe Bowl or whatever kind of bull
That's such
crap.
a bizarre game. That's like the Wrigley
Why are
game,
we
too.
trying to put a college football game in New York Yankee Stadium? Oh, because you're trying to grow the game and expand it out? No, hey, that don't work. You see how that map works for a reason. And it's because a reason and a region. That almost looks like, man, I wish I could draw a red line as I'm seeing the picture right now. This almost looks like the Atlanta Braves' entire fan base.
Oh, yes.
I
I remember that
literally.
picture, too.
So, literally, Atlanta Braves and college football are all synonymous. Granted, hey, there are some growing sports in the North. Obviously, hockey's big here, and they succeed up, above the Mason-Dixon line. But, hey, no, just listen. Keep the bowl games down south. They're all going away anyway. College football, they could have put all the playoffs as the bowl games, but no, they're just going to create their own playoffs and eliminate all those bowl games. So
that's another talk for that.
No, there's no expanding bowl games, but yeah, no, right. There's just no expanding them. I mean, it'd be great to have them in Buffalo, Minnesota, but I think they're going away versus popping up.
Okay. Fans, I want you to chime in. See, Darren he's still chiming in. He says, and I don't think more ball games. These kids don't want to play bowl games. They sit out, and us fans pay all this money not to watch our favorite teams do well because that is so true.
Well, I'm sorry, I did forget. I wanted to throw it to Shane because Shane does have one person that can save the game. Mr. Snoop Dogg himself.
Snoop D-O-double-G.
Boy, here. How? Please explain.
We're talking about how players are sitting out in these bowl games and all. Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre with their new gin and juice product that they have come out with. No sponsorship, so don't worry. I'm sorry, but Snoop has came out and pledged that both teams that are selected for the bowl game and come to them, both teams will receive full NIL money for the game. So with that being said, and the NIL money and everything opening up, does it really seem like the bowl games are going to shift, or are these corporate sponsors going to try to make bank off of, producing games? We look at this, bowl games, you're invited to a bowl game and you accept the bid. it's not like you're told to go play at this game. No, you can decline whatever offer you're given to a bowl game at any time. The school can. But with the NIL deals and everything else around, and the way that they're structuring it, the corporate America getting involved, you could see more games, less games. You can see bigger matchups. You can see schools turning down big bowl games to go to a lesser bowl game with their fandom because they're going to receive more money off of ticket sales and everything else like that. So that's just something to kind of keep, that's blossoming into this world of college football and college athletics is the NIL money. So, it's just one thing that I want to keep an eye on. And I think that it's good that Snoop's doing this for the kids. But I think it's going to open up a widespread, kind of a money to the market kind of deal.
Well, and you said this actually earlier this week as we were having this conversation about NIL. It's open NIL season. Who's got the bigger Benjamins to give? And that is very true with a lot of schools, unfortunately. I want to chime in on that, and then we'll go to our next topic. It's a little funny story. Addison's softball camp this week that was held, and it's really funny what she said is I'm a broke college student here, and I'm giving you my candy. What am I going to do? And that's when I said, you got to pop off and get that big NIL deal. And she goes, oh, yeah, I've got to get me some NIL money now. And so the two other girls that were there, they knew what they were talking about. They laughed. The coach had to pause for a second, like, wait a second. NIL, huh? And then, Addison goes, what does NIL mean? And I go, don't worry about it, baby. It's something for college kids. So, it isn't a forever going conversation with regards to NIL money and ticket sales. And should there be more bowl games? I think there should be, but I think maybe limit per se. We have quite a bit of people who've chimed in the past at the radio station here. JD has heard it too. Shane, I'm sure you've heard it, is why do you have bowl games still? People don't care. And this is when I chime in. I say, tell that to James Madison. Tell that to Liberty. Tell that to all the small schools. Tell that to Jackson State. Tell that to the schools who go out and they win their first ever bowl game. It means more to other schools. Just because it's not Big Brother's SEC or other Big Brother, Big 10 or Big 12, doesn't mean it doesn't count any less for the other schools, the Power Fives. Just seem to think it doesn't mean as much.
Oh, yeah. Tell us that state in 2006 when they went up to Ann Arbor.
That's right.
Hey, Brent, how much time do we have left before we get cut off here?
Not much. We have a little bit of time left. We're going to jump to our next subject. Our next subject is...
I hate to cut it short. I know. Wasn't it? How many minutes do we have? Let's save it. Hey, let's hit. We got 15 minutes left.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I just didn't want it to cut off on me without like the headphone thing. If we got 15 minutes, yeah, we're good. I just wanted it to be like 3 again.
No. Hey, that was all because I had an error.
No. I'm just I just wanted to check. No, hey, I'm just being paranoid. I'm good. We're good. All right. Hey, yeah, let's give this shout out to these women, baby. All these women we've shouted out the whole show.
It is Women's College Softball World Series season. I'm going to show you. I'm going to pan over for a second to this beautiful lady. Ladies and gentlemen, the lovely 7.5-month pregnant Cassie Keeler is in the house, and she is excited to watch this event. Why? Let me tell you why. It's college softball season, y'all. We love it. We saw some really good matchups on day one of the World Series. What is interesting, though, is what is going on with the Carolinas teams. Yes, there's multiples. I'm going to say that. Carolinas. Unfortunately, Clemson didn't make it to the Oklahoma City this year. But here's an interesting stat, and we're going to go short on this one. Clemson started their program actually in 2020. Now, it was announced in 2017 that they would have a team. They have been dominant the entire time they've been around. With them losing this year, the seniors who helped start the program are all graduating. However, there are a lot more solid players up and coming. But let's go up the road a little bit further to North Carolina. I'm not talking about UNC, y'all. Duke University. They have only had their program around for 7 years. And every year, they've gotten better and better. Let's take a look at the years by year stats total. Year one, they started 29-27. You fast forward to 2024, they finished the regular season 52-8. They're currently the number 10 seed, and they just faced the 3-time champion Oklahoma on day one, and they did lose 9-1. They are actually down to their final out against Alabama. They are down 2-1. There's a possibility. So what does this say for the East Coast? It's softball is here, and it's here to stay. For decades, the West Coast was always the front runner in college softball. Look at what Oklahoma has done. Y'all, they are a dynasty. So my question for everybody on the stream, and my question for my guys, I kind of have an idea because it is the final 2 outs. If Duke were to hit a home run and tie this game, could Duke make an improbable run and make it to the championship series? Also, what does this say for Duke's head coach as well? Just so you guys know, and I don't know if fans knew this, she broke a barrier actually this year. She is the first Black head coach in college softball history to lead a team to the Women's College World Series. This is amazing that you had that opportunity. I'm going to start with JD on this one, though. JD, you have a little time. Start fast, finish strong. Tell me what you think about Duke and what you think about the future for Duke, because I'm going to let you know Duke's about to lose. But go on, JD. The floor is yours.
Well, yeah, they might be about to lose. Clemson, I thought they were on an upward trajectory, too, as a softball program to begin. I mean, I don't know. There's just something about, hey, there's a kitty cat jumping down behind me.
And Alabama has one.
I mean, yeah, I see them shaking hands behind me. Hey, congratulations to them. Listen, there's something, though, about these upstart programs. I was actually trying to Google the Duke's softball head coach's name real quick because I didn't want to be disrespectful. I wanted to try to mention her by name. Because, I mean, yeah, she's obviously done a tremendous job building that program. We've talked about building football programs this evening and building baseball programs and building softball programs and just great women in general. Been a great
Her name is Marissa Young.
Okay. Hey, I just wanted to make sure I got it. And I was trying to search it before you made me start talking. So thank you. But no, it's all good. No, I just wanted to make sure I mentioned her by name, Marissa Young. Congratulations for being the first head coach to do what you've done. I'm all into women's sports now. I mean, when I see a women's softball game, basketball game, WNBA, soccer, whatever it may be, you can guarantee JD is watching it now.
So I want to actually throw a little quick thing because you mentioned women's soccer. Everybody who doesn't know, my mother who is watching, Carla Kelly, I love you, Mom. Roswell, Georgia is actually on the verge of getting a pro women's and pro men's soccer team. I'm excited to hear this because it's great for Roswell, Georgia. I can guarantee you now, y'all, when the stadium is built, which will be done by 2028, the Sportz Nutz are going to be there. We're going to broadcast live from the stadium in Roswell because the stadium, I know where it's going to be built, and it's not too far from Mom's house. And, guys, Roswell, Georgia is beautiful. It's home to me. My girls love going there. We love everybody there. Shout out to Greg because, Greg only lives about 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes at most with traffic away from Roswell, Georgia. Beautiful town. All right. So now that we know Duke is not going to make the improbable run, Shane, I want to hear what you think about what Duke has accomplished each year and year out. Obviously, coming up short, but making it to the College World Series is a big step in the right direction. Do you think that Duke is only going to get even better? And what do you have to say about Duke's coach? I almost said basketball coach. Duke's coach being the first African-American head coach in women's college softball history to go to the World Series. What do you think about all this?
Man, and we've touched on it multiple times throughout many different episodes. You know, the women's college sports as a whole, in general, across the board, as JD pointed to, is just great, gaining popularity. You know, with the increase in popularity, of course, you're going to have more money influx coming in. So with that comes more opportunities for schools. You know, you're still going to have, you know, especially in the early years of this onset that we see, you're still going to have your juggernauts like Oklahoma, Texas, UCLA on the softball side. You know, you see your North Carolinas on the soccer side. You know, and I think it's Virginia, North Carolina, both on field hockey. They dominate, and you're going to see
Virginia is always dominated field hockey, though.
But you see that, but with the increase in popularity over the years with women's sports, you see more and more competitiveness coming from these small schools or even these bigger schools that are just starting off programs, as you mentioned, Clemson in 2020. You know, Duke, Clemson, they're fresh on the scene. Duke, I mean, it's been, 7 years since they've had the program? They have sustained a level of success through this whole 7 years, and it's only gotten better and better and better. But and that just shows the dedication and determination that you know, the coaches and everything put in to these sports, and I'm glad to see it. I'm a underdog fan. If you've got underdog odds, I'm going to pull for you if I don't have a dog in the fight.
Hey, that's what you got to do, you know, because you can't give up, you know. Now, JD actually has something that's pretty cool. JD has something pretty cool to talk about underdogs. I'm glad you said that, Shane. JD, share the coolest, probably the best story out of college athletics right now. You have about 7-8 minutes because I want you to mention this. What is the coolest story you're hearing right now in all of college sports, all levels? That means D1, D2, D3, and AIA.
Oh,
go,
God.
JD.
You've got me. What am I talking about?
Birmingham Southern University.
You got to give. No, I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute, whoa, I don't. Yeah. Now I remember.
GoFundMe page.
It's remarkable.
Bro, No,
guys,
it is. It's ridiculous.
We are seeing something special. JD, come on, tell everybody
it's so ridiculous. I had already forgotten about it. All right, give me a break. I already forgot. I didn't that's how crazy it was. First of all, as of today, they're no longer a school. What?
Yeah.
But they're playing for a national championship this year. As of today, they are no longer a school. Yeah,
they are no longer a school.
But
I was about ready to declare this happy graduate day. So happy graduation day to Birmingham Southern University. That's no longer a school, and happy graduate day to my niece. Happy niece day to my other niece Taylor. Happy family day. Happy family day to everybody. All you women, all you people are all you great. But Birmingham Southern, they're going to go play for a baseball national championship. They're not even a school anymore.
Wait, guys, I'm going to go ahead and do this now.
I don't even know.
Shane and I want Shane to follow me. All right, Shane, you ready? Tip your ball cap to Birmingham Southern University. if they win it all, I'm telling you now, all you Mixed Nuts fans, all you Sportz Nutz fans, you better go on to ESPN. You better start hounding the heck out of them and say that school better get an ESPY this year, because that is something you would not see on a regular basis. So, guys, this has been a fantastic episode. We had such a great time. Do we not have some of the best conversations with everybody, with each other? I mean, we flow off each other like, and I'm going to use my buddy Chase here. This is his words. You guys flow like the Colorado River. We rock it. I am so proud of what we have accomplished this year so far, guys. And you know what? This may be episode 12. It's really 13 because, we had week 0. But you know what, though? We have 13 down. We have 300,000 to go. We are going to be there for every single one of you. Guys, I cannot tell you what this means to me and my team, who I'm going to quote now. We are the dream team. My man Greg is Hakeem Olajuwon. I'm Shaquille O'Neal. I'm Shaquille, and I'm also a mixture of MJ. JD, though, that's Steve Kerr. Shane below us here, that's Chris Mullins. You know who that is? I want you guys to Google Chris Mullin, the most accurate free throw shooter that's ever walked the face of the earth. He's also modern day Steph Curry. Klay Thompson is also JD Wyatt. Guys, without you, we can't do this. And I got to tell you, you guys make this the best. So what I want you guys to do, all my Mixed Nuts fans right now, like, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Share the word. You found the newest, greatest sports podcast, because it's here to stay. I want you to follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Y'all, coming soon is a TikTok page. Our man Greg is creating one. Hopefully it still lasts. I know we had that issue going on with the government wanting to get rid of it. We're creating more merchandise soon. We are going to have even more logo updates coming as well. Remember, y'all, the Sportz Nutz t-shirts are up for sale. Our man Greg has posted the link. We will post the link again and again. Get it out there. Get the Sportz Nutz t-shirts. We cannot wait. Our man Shane is working on a little merchandise update. Shane, share with the good people what this merchandise adventure that you're working on is about to happen.
Well, currently, now that graduation's all said and done, hey, congratulations to everybody out there graduating. Hey, best of luck to you, future endeavors. We do nothing but pray for the best for everybody out there. But now that that's over, we're going to get started into some possibly some tumblers. I've also got somebody else with some maybe jerseys. I know it's not weather yet, but we got some hoodies and some other things coming. Hopefully soon, maybe we'll be even to get some hats going. Get a little Sportz Nutz, Mixed Nuts hats going. Everybody be able to rep us out and show the love for the podcast. And we appreciate anything that's done to support us in any kind of way. As always, come check me out on Snapchat, Shane O'Mac 1240, Instagram s.owen 1240. Hopefully the appeal goes through on Twitter. Maybe we'll see, but if that's the case, it'll be Shane O'Mac 1240 there too. But hey, I appreciate it. All the Mixed Nuts out there coming, showing you love, watching us tonight. Special shout out to Bob for coming on and sharing all his great stories and stuff that we had. Much love to everybody out there.
JD, without further ado. Actually, before we go to JD, I want to tell you guys this. The man, the myth, the legend, Greg Troxel, on location, live tweeting, live videoing the Braves game. They are up, I believe, 4-1.
4-1.
Let's go, Braves. Let's get it. All right, JD, would you please share the social handles so all of our Mixed Nuts fans, our family of Sportz Nutz likes and loves, know where to find not only you, but where to find the Sportz Nutz. Let's get it, brother.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Again, congratulations to my niece, Ashley. Congratulations to all my family. Y'all continue to do great things. All of you, far and few in between, put in the work, do what you need to do. You can find me at JDWyatt06 on X. But for the love of God, Elon, hey, we're still trying to figure out Shane's nonsense. Can you please help us out? Elon Musk or any technical advisor anywhere. We're trying to get Shane O'Mac ready to go on Twitter so we can like and share and follow our stuff, bro. But again, thank y'all, everybody. I'm JD Wyatt06. Don't forget the Sportz Nutz, spelled with a Z. You can find us on YouTube. Make sure to put the @ symbol first. The Sportz Nutz 176 on YouTube. Thank you guys all for being here. Coach Bob Spire, great conversation. Hey, be blessed, not stressed. Bang, bang.
Guys, this was because we do have a little good news coming out for tomorrow night. My man to my right here, as I point to the left, JD, and maybe Mr. Shane Owen, gonna come on with a little Sportz Nutz shorts. Let's get it, gentlemen. We got to hear your takes on South Carolina baseball pulling the Mark Kingston job-saving marathon. That is 1-888 save Mark Kingston. Again, 1-888 save Mark Kingston. JD is going to share that with us. He's going to talk some NASCAR, maybe talk some golf. I don't know what this man's going to do, but you're going to have to stick around and find out because you're going to like what you're going to hear. Our man Greg is going to do the Sunday mornings with Greg T. Y'all, he did a phenomenal job talking wrestling. Please make sure you follow him on all social media platforms at the Greg Troxel. It is a privilege. It is an honor to be with you guys. Now, for our man, the myth, the legend, reporting live from Truist Park, Greg Troxel, my man below, is the one and only Shane Owen. See this guy right here, y'all. Follow him. And then my man to my, I'm pointing to my left, but he's to my right. Mr. J, just delightful, because he is a bachelor tonight.
Oh, yeah. Hey, and the Gamecocks won, baby. Good night, everybody. Be blessed.
Braves won 4-2. Braves won 4-2, by the way.
Oh, yeah, and the Braves won. Hey, we're all going to go have a good night. All right, let's sign this thing off. Hey, Shane, go.
Shane, what do we say?
Hey, as always, peace, love, and bacon grease. Until next time.
Y'all,
be blessed,
it has been a mess. It's been a blessing. That's right. Be blessed, bless us. Peace up. A-Town down. We love you. Show's over. Get out of here. Bye. See ya.